what's now going away, the EPA, our food, water, shelter, that the Trump administration's trying to delete. But because of these rumblings of small groups, whole policy was changed.
Yeah, Nixon heard the rumble coming out of the 60s. I mean, he was very sensitive to mass marches critical of him, and he knew what the anti-Vietnam War marches did to affect Washington and eventually getting out of that quagmire. And we would push bills through Congress, and they would go to his desk, and he'd just sign one after another with some pretty good introductory praise that he really didn't believe in. And I took note of that at that time, and I said, you know, how big was this rumble? It couldn't have been more than 1 million or 2 people broken up in various marches and rallies. Just think of that, out of 270 million people or so at the time. It's really easier than we think. Throughout all American history, apart from the wars, every major social justice movement took 1% or less of active, engaged people, as long as they were able either to shape public opinion or reflect already majority public opinion. That's the equation. And we're talking right now, there are 225 million adults, and let's say 1% is 2.5 million. Let's be more conservative and say, how about 1/2 of 1% spending 300 to 500 hours a year connected with one another in every congressional district? Because oftentimes the decider is the Congress, 535 people. We outnumber them, and it's done. And it's done again and again, and we've done it in the past with far less than 1/2 of 1%. I always like to say to people, you know, think of it as a civic hobby. Watchdogging Congress. I mean, if your neighbor knocked on your door and said, "Hi, I'm your new neighbor. I just want to let you know I spend 23% of your income, can send your children to war, can expose you to all kinds of unfair things on behalf of Wall Street, can use your tax dollars to bail out corporate crooks. See you later." Would you spend any time on your neighbor? Of course you would. Well, that's your member of Congress. It's very simple. We have to break our routine and stop making excuses for ourselves like, oh, they're all sold out. We can't do anything about it. Big money. They carve up the districts to favor Democrat, Republican. But power is still in the people because the Constitution starts we the people, not we the Congress or we the corporation. You know, that's what this book is about. Tremendously motivating book. I give a lot of examples. Ordinary people suddenly become giants and change. Nutrition, for example, or pension rights, or environmental protection, or auto safety. A handful of people. Why? Because most people supported them passively because they want their kids protected. They want to breathe clean air and eat safe food and take safe medicines and all the things that we can do to turn around this country for the better.
Harrison with you. You can follow us anytime on Facebook, keyword Go Harrison. Same thing on Instagram, Go Harrison. Same thing on Twitter, @Go Harrison. As we continue to talk to Ralph Nader, one of our favorite superheroes, whose latest book is called Breaking Through Power, and teaching us it's doable, that we can recapture our own democracy. It doesn't matter what administration is in power. It doesn't matter what corporations are in power, that they ultimately yield when our voices are heard. You know, it's interesting how we're all trying to be convinced by a lot of these, the power. And you talk about plutocracy and oligarchy and how the power concentrates at the top and then does its level best to get rid of democracy. Because what happens if the current 327 million of us here, the mammals crawling around in America, what if we all got together and did a thumbs up or thumbs down? Clean air and water, up, down. Housing, up, down. Well, we know how that's going to go. So a lot of what you talk about in the book is how they get in the way, impede, block, or try to convince us through propaganda that we're crazy, that we don't want this stuff.
Well, here are their tactics. So the ruling groups, and there are always ruling groups in every society, first they divide and rule. And they take the divisive issues, like between left, right, reproductive rights, school prayer, gun control, and that's where they hammer. That's where the press follows them. So people on the left and right are not focusing on the huge areas of change which are mentioned in this book. They both agree on, left and right. Once conservative liberals agree on something like preserving civil liberties from the erosions of the Patriot Act, criminal justice reform, which is already underway, higher minimum wage, going after enforcement on corporate crime, prosecuting the crooks in Wall Street, breaking up the big banks that are too big to fail, de-bloating the waste in the military and other budgets. It's unstoppable political force. The members of Congress can't handle it. They know how to game liberals. They know how to game conservatives. They don't know how to game both of them coming together. And this book alludes to another book I did called Unstoppable
Yes,
Emerging Left-Right Alliance. Yeah, to dismantle the corporate state. And I list 24 areas ready now in terms of public opinion polls and some actual activity conservatives and liberals could band together and really put force behind we, the people. So the ruling groups like to divide and rule. The second thing they do is they want you to make you feel from the moment you're, a fourth grader that you can't.
John Live, Johnny Stewart and Friends,
Slithering Idiot Show,
Our Yelling Bruce,
Guy Dawson Show,
702 Rocks, Danny Vegas Time.
Gene Wood's Racing Experience, named for the racing veteran and three-time champion, packs big racing action into extremely fast, high-performance karts that let you battle the other competitors side by side, just inches off the ground. Though the Las Vegas Strip provides a glittering backdrop, to the drivers at Gene Wood's Racing Experience, the blinking lights are all a blur. Behind the wheel of the high-performance karts, you'll zip around the half-mile track at speeds faster than other standard racing karts' top speeds. Drivers learn to commandeer the speedy karts through an instructional video before they are let loose onto the curving track for 10 heart-pounding laps. We are located at 121 East Sunset Boulevard in Las Vegas, Nevada.
You know what? It's time to go racing. Let's get her done!
Social media has changed the game. There are no rules to be made. So ask yourself, who writes the rules? Are you? The forefront of social media is evolving, and the primary force is taking a huge shift in the way the world communicates. So how do we communicate? Through social media. Today, 1 in 4 consumers shop online, and businesses are having to be more personable with their brand than ever before. So for the past few years, I've researched how social media has connected faster to consumers in 2 years than radio, TV, magazines, and billboards combined did in 30 years. So the value exchange between products, human connections, is the magic that social media brings to life. I have an easy strategy to successfully show you how I can build a simple yet effective way for your social media program to be excelled for your business. Let me clear the path and assist you with producing, building, and strengthening your social media connections. Let me guide you to writing the rules to your game. I'm Michelle Davis, and I am the Social Media MD. Call for a free consultation or visit me at thesocialmediamd.com.
Hi, I'm Daylin Woods. Welcome to Woods Family Sandwiches. I've always had a passion for food. When I lived in England, I owned my own restaurant. Then when we moved back to the United States, an opportunity came to open a sandwich shop, and I just wanted to get back into it. We have here at Woods Family Sandwiches wraps as well as salads and soups. We offer only the finest ingredients to our customers. We have boar's head meats and cheeses. We have fresh bread, fresh produce, great soups daily that we prepare for our customers, kosher whole pickles, Deep River Kettle One chips. We have a variety of wraps, or you can make any sub a wrap, any sub a salad. Come on in for our daily specials. We are located at 931 American Pacific, number 106, Henderson, or call us for your deliveries or pickups at 702-826-2230. Here at Woods Family Sandwiches, we're family owned and operated.
We are looking forward to seeing you.
I'm Elvira Guzman. I'm an author, speaker, publicist, and talk show host. I've owned a publicity company for 10 years after starting my career working for Steve Harvey as a radio and television producer. I've worked on TV and films with celebrities like Halle Berry, Forrest Whitaker, Terrence J, Amber Rose, Mike Epps. I've done concerts for Ice Cube, The Game, Music Soul Child. I've worked on books for Shirley Strawberry, Troy Byer, and I've done philanthropy projects with Hollywood's heroes like Danny Trejo. Throughout my career, all of the projects I've done have had one common thread. They all help people find their way.
The Joanne Powell Show. Top stories and interviews on current events and topics people are talking about. Watch The Joanne Powell Show Wednesday afternoons at 1 o'clock Pacific Time to find out more about the issues impacting you and your family on the World Center of Broadcast Media, WCOBM.com, Hollywood.
WCOBM TV, Hollywood.
Attention, this is the show countdown. 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, activate.
It's Miss West with Julia Zhang. Live show on Hollywood. When planning a business trip, a leisure trip, your hotel choice may be one of the most important decisions you need to make. Today, we will have an interview with a membership travel agency who promise to offer the members the lowest rate possible. Let's connect to Todd, the CEO of the membership travel. I'm very interested in find out more information.
Hi, how you doing?
Hi, Todd. How are you?
I'm doing really good.
So, Todd, membership travel, your company, it's an online travel agency. Tell us more about that.
Basically, it's what we did was we built a platform. We took the top 3 wholesalers worldwide, and each one of those has their own platforms. Well, we took our platform, built an XML feed from each one of the 3 platforms into our dynamic platform so that we could display the lowest rates possible, you know, because even with the wholesalers, they have different rates. And we want to make sure that our clients are always getting the absolute lowest rate available. And so with membership travel, it's a
Good morning, and thank you for tuning in to Nadya's Identity Files. It's been like 5,500 years since I've last done a show. At least it seems that way. I think it's been about 2 weeks. Last Tuesday was 4th of July. I did absolutely nothing, and it was glorious. And the week before that, God, I don't even remember, but to be quite honest, part of the reason why you haven't seen me in a couple weeks is because I have been gearing up to launch an Indiegogo crowdfunding campaign for Nadya's Identity Files. It is time, high time actually, for Nadya's Identity Files to move to the next level, to have the ability to go out there and interview people outside of the WCOBM.TV studio and to kick my marketing stuff into high gear and really make a huge impact with this show. So if you can follow me on social media, if you're not already, I'll start to update probably every day about the campaign. It has not launched yet. I'm in the process of assembling some really cool footage for the campaign, but it would mean a lot to me if you engage with me more outside of watching the show to do what you can to make sure I can keep staying on the air. So I'm enjoying right now. I just have to mention it because you know me, I'm so random, right? I'm enjoying some sponsored stripper water, and I'm sorry, but I do have to shout out Puppetry of the Penis, Harry Money's Erotic Museum in Las Vegas. You guys, I haven't been to Las Vegas since 2008. Like, that's almost 10 years. I think I clearly have a reason to go to Vegas now, in addition to visiting the Las Vegas WCOBM.TV studio. I need to check out Puppetry of the Penis. So random, but I absolutely love it. So, to keep you updated on other things that have gone down since you last saw me, I've been out and about talking to a lot of people, new prospective guests, new prospective sponsors. I have a couple new advertising partners and sponsors that are set to start out with me next month, so you'll be hearing about that soon. This coming Thursday at 1 p.m. Pacific time, I'm going to be hosting a webcast that will be focusing on the process of hosting and producing online content. Now, that content does not have to just be for an online TV network for like WCOBM. It can also be for YouTube. It can be a podcast for iTunes or SoundCloud. It can be something you even host or house on your own website. So we're going to just go over the different ways in which you can do that, different methods that you can monetize your content, and just really cool opportunities and things that hopefully will inspire you to act and to start your own shit, you guys. The year is almost, it is more than halfway over. So why not go out with a bang and start something really cool that you've been wanting to do forever? So again, 1 p.m. Pacific time, follow me on Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, message me, reach out to me, contact me, and I will give you the deets. Now, today, on today's episode, we are going to be exploring something that we've kind of touched on before in other episodes when we've explored other different themes of identity, such as gender and even sexuality and working in different industries. But we're going to specifically hone in on beauty and identity today. So there's a massive wave of beauty influencers, and honestly, there's part of me that still doesn't quite get it. Like, I don't know how someone who's applying mascara and lipstick and highlighter could get millions and millions of views. I don't know. I just don't get it. But maybe, I don't know. I guess I'm just not as girly as I might seem, you guys. Like, I just learned how to do highlighter maybe like less than 6 months ago. Like, I didn't understand like what the point was of drawing like a little circle on your nose and doing those little things. Like, I just don't get it. I'm sorry, I don't get it. However, beauty is as ubiquitous as things go, as pervasive as things go in our society, in the good old United States, in the world, and there's so many different facets and aspects of beauty that have always fascinated me. I used to model. I used to base a lot of my identity on the potential success of becoming a model and working in that world. And, you know, I think that it really caused different aspects of my identity to evolve after I moved on from that. And because at that point, when I was done doing the modeling stuff, I began reflecting a lot more on different ways that I behaved when I was in front of the camera, how I interacted with other models, the types of content that I was being showcased in, and so on. So we're going to talk to two different influencers, beauty influencers, both very unique and special in their own right. Daisy Pollard Sepulveda and Myra Jolie. So I'm super excited, and I'm sorry if I butchered either of your names. I am prone to do that, but I think that I worked it out. And Myra is a life coach and business mentor supporting millennial women to find their passion, rock their confidence, and get paid to do what they love. She serves her clients through the dynamic hashtag Ambitionista online community and through her signature mentorship program, hashtag Year of Massive Action. She is passionate about feminism, racial justice, and LGBTQ equality. She is inspired by celebrities RuPaul, Annie Lennox, and Lady Gaga, just to name a few, for having purpose-driven and unapologetic lives, something obviously very important to me as well. In her spare time, she enjoys hiking, dancing, hosting social events, and planning her next adventure. I hope that she'll find being on Nadya's Identity Files to be a bit of an adventure. It definitely can be a little special at times, so hey, thank you, Myra, for coming on to the show. I look forward to talking to you. And then Daisy Pollard Sepulveda is a modelpreneur who has developed a genuine and deep interest in aesthetic labor. And before she sent me that short bio, aesthetic, I didn't really understand what aesthetic labor was. So I'm so excited to dig in with her about that. And so she focuses on the work that goes into being a professional model and beauty queen. She's also a businesswoman, author, and actress. In 2005, she was crowned Miss Jamaica International, which led her to compete on a larger scale at the first Jamaican candidate in history to compete in Miss Earth 2005, Miss Asia Pacific 2005, and Miss Beauty Queen World 2005. And she's also super, super smart. She has her own media company and is involved in multiple entrepreneurial pursuits. So I look forward to speaking with her as well. And, you know, again, going back to the whole hype of the beauty influencer, I was doing some research and I found that, so there was a Forbes top 10 list of top 10 beauty influencers, and between all 10 of them, I think that they have an estimated reach of 135 million people. And to be honest, I didn't recognize any of their names except for Jeffree Star, but you know, everyone knows Jeffree Star. In any event, we're going to be exploring more than just typical beauty culture, typical topics that you might think about when we're going to be talking about beauty influence and so on, with these two powerful, dynamic, and charismatic women. Stay tuned for the interviews.
In today's digital age, it's vital your business has what's called an online presence and inbound marketing. If you don't, or what you do have isn't very good, it's going to be very difficult to grow your brand, increase profits, and be successful. And here's another problem. Creating a powerful online presence means mastering numerous types of online marketing techniques. Let's face it, you're an expert in your particular industry, but unless you have time, energy, and a lot of money to waste while you learn from your mistakes, becoming a master at creating an online presence is going to be difficult, if not impossible. And that's why you need online marketing experts like OrganizeIn. We have the expertise and experience you need to increase sales and profits significantly. We follow a practical framework. First, we build a solid online web presence. That means having an outstanding responsive website that is easy to navigate on all mobile devices and desktops. Also, as a lead generation machine. Then we start with inbound marketing framework. This includes search engine optimization, social media marketing, content marketing, pay-per-click marketing, and email marketing. Our expert team has years of experience, and our customer service is simply as good as it gets. The point being is this: when you work with us, we take care of handling all your digital marketing and do it in an affordable price. We build your online presence into something powerful that creates long-term sales and an affinity for your brand, leaving you to do the most important: run your business and take care of your customers. If that sounds like an excellent idea, get in touch with us today.
Hello and welcome back to Nadya's Identity Files. I'm realizing I'm kind of hyper today because I had a lot of coffee. We were just talking about our crazy, erratic entrepreneurial sleep schedules and how we are trying to adjust and be more normal human beings. Are you a coffee drinker?
I'm a huge coffee drinker. Yeah, I'm on a coffee restriction. I can have 1 cup a day.
Oh gosh, I've tried that. I've tried that so many times, and I've just accepted it's always going to be about 2 cups of coffee.
Yeah.
And then I'll attempt to cap it off there. But I'm sorry, you guys. I'm not smoking crack. I don't have a heroin needle in my arm. Coffee
don't give
is
people
my
any
only
ideas.
vice. I'm not endorsing any of those. I'm just saying. So today we're going to be talking about beauty and identity. I'm so happy to have you here today. And you are a self-declared modelpreneur. I love that term. That's so cool. And your beauty work began quite some time ago, 12, 13 years ago in pageants. Can you talk a bit about your journey?
Sure. So actually, I started in like straightforward modeling. So I started about like 12 years old. I'm doing teeny bopper catalog stuff and in New York City.
What are some of the ones that you were in?
Oh god, like JCPenney, like the the like mailers that you got in the mail.
Yes.
Yeah. So I mean, people don't think of that as actual like modeling,
right?
But it all falls into the category. I mean, it's a very big industry, and people only think about it in terms of like Victoria's Secrets and Sports Illustrated, but a lot of different sectors use models for different things. So
yeah, totally.
I did a lot of catalog and print and kitty, happy child and teen modeling, and I just kind of grew up in that business.
Right.
And I got into pageants like rather late. I was in my mid-20s, like 24, 25, and that's when it began. That's when the pageantry stuff began. And
what is the age cap traditionally for pageants, or does it vary?
I mean, varies. I don't know. Yeah, it varies per system. So in that time, I think like Miss Universe was like 25 or 24, something like that. Other intercore pageants were like 25, 26. Now I think like Miss Universe is 26, 27, 28 somewhere. I know they've been playing around with the age cap.
Yeah.
They've been playing around with a lot of different things, but the age cap has increased as time has gone on.
Were pageants always something that you wanted to do, and then at that point you're like, I'm getting older, which obviously 24 is still very young, but in pageant years it's on the older side, where you're like, I want to do this. What happened?
No. So, can I curse in this show?
Girl, okay. I just talked about a crack pipe and peanut.
So, hell no. Before I decided to do pageants, I did not in that time, I guess, like in that time, like the modeling world and the pageant world were not crossing over at all. So if you were like doing modeling or doing anything that was on that path, like acting, you definitely did not cross that over with your modeling career. I mean, with your pageant like work or whatever. So no, before I got the opportunity, I did not think about it, and it was not something I wanted to do. I had my own preconceived notions about pageantry, and like everyone else, like stereotype. You had because I grew up in that generation of Vanna White and Vanessa Williams, and so it had a really negative connotation to me. So it was because a woman that is very well known in the pageant world approached me and asked me would I be interested in competing, and something within that like 6 months of us talking just like clicked, and I was like, actually, yes, I will do this. And the reason why is because I realized that there's a money-making machine there. Like, beauty queens make money actually competing. And there's a lot of opportunity to build your platform, whatever it is you want to do, and relationships. A lot of it is relationship building. So on the business front, on the political front, and on the philanthropic front. So I was like, oh, there's a lot I can do here.
Right.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you were very strategic about it. There's definitely, I feel traditionally, and, this is probably a generalization based off things I've seen in the media and other women that I've known to compete in pageants, and it was more about, like, I gotta win the pageant, and I want to be this pageant queen. Rather, you were thinking very strategically, always the entrepreneur.
Always,
like, how am I going to create this and this and this, and it's going to be kind of a launch pad for you.
So a lot of beauty queens that are, especially if you're in the high level of competing, so it's not like your corner street pageant, like like
corner street pageant.
So it's not like your neighborhood pageant.
Is there like a neighborhood?
I don't know. Like so like Miss Los Angeles, right? Like
go back to Hagerstown,
Miss Hollywood. I mean, like the small town pageants. There's not. The cap on the marketing is limited, right? There's a lot of pageants that don't lead to something. So, I don't want to throw any pageant system under the bus, because I know a lot of them, but there's a lot of them that don't have a plan or that don't have much leverage in the industry. So the further down you go, there's less of an opportunity for you to build anything from it. But if you are in a certain group of pageants, like Miss Universe, Miss World, Miss International, Miss Earth, Miss Asia Pacific, and there's some other ones underneath that, then the reach is very broad. and most of those girls are career beauty queens.
Yeah.
So meaning that, especially like if you're from the Latin American countries, if you are from the Asian countries, then you are groomed to do this, and there is a marketing play behind it.
Right.
And even if it's just for personal gain, like for example, to better position yourself for marriage, which in a lot of cultures that is the reality.
Did you meet women like who kind of you've got the impression that that's why they were doing it, or
there is no impression? It's just exactly what it is. I mean,
I want to hear about that.
So,
because I mean, again, like you obviously were very strategic, very business savvy, really interested in trying to make a difference. And I think probably because I've known some other pageant girls who were really concerned about the philanthropic side, and that's why they got into it. But I mean, what was the kind of like the response and the interaction with other women, and just keeping in the context of beauty and identity?
So surprisingly, and I think this will probably make like ABC News or something. Maybe not.
Let's bump it up.
That there's like all this like infighting in pageants, and there's really not. Like that's the most boringest thing you can ever hear about pageants. I am friends with like every girl that I've ever competed with in every system. Like we've got Facebook groups.
That's great.
That we share and keep in touch with each other and everything. We like heart each other's posts on Facebook or whatever. Because we're all over the world. But I mean, a lot of my friends that from the pageant world, they got married, they married well, and there's no shame in that. That's what they wanted to do. That's what they did. There's no judgment.
Right.
It just is. It's also understanding the cultural context of it too. So, and a lot of them have their small businesses or their big businesses wherever they are, and there's nothing wrong with that. Some women have the whole package. We call it the whole package: the career, the husband, the children, the 3.5 kids, and traveling all over the world. I have friends that have that life, and that's what they wanted. That's great. So there's really no judgment.
Right.
Yeah.
So so you would say there's not that much pressure then necessarily for women who compete in pageants to come out of it with that whole package?
I think so first of all, the personality of a lot of beauty queens is that we're overachievers, and we're very competitive. So if you apply apply it to a guy that wants to make it to Major League Baseball, because the way that I look at pageants is very similar to like minor league baseballs, because you can trade systems, or you can go to Asia and play baseball.
That's very true.
And make a shitload of money, right? So in pageants, you don't have to compete at Miss Universe and Miss World to make a career. Like I didn't compete at Miss Universe or Miss World. I competed in like the top pageants underneath those, and I did pretty well for myself, and so did a lot of the other girls that I competed with. And so, it just really depends on what you want and how you plan on getting it through that.
Right. Very cool. I want to talk about the aesthetic labor. You mentioned aesthetic labor. Let's talk about that.
Yeah, that is like my thing.
That sounds so interesting.
So, as like society moves forward, we are all contributing to aesthetic labor. So I don't have any. I wasn't prepared with any like statistical stats for this interview, but even in corporate America, you are judged by how you look in order to get a job, to get a promotion, whatever, and that is aesthetic labor, right? You have to put in work aesthetically in order to move up in anything that you do. So maybe pageants and modeling and like influencer stuff, we talked about beauty influencers, that's a whole nother level, but we all play a part in it, right? We all judge based on someone's aesthetic, and we all have to put in that labor to make ourselves more.
But do we have to, or is society making people feel compelled to do that?
At this point, I don't believe that it really matters. It is just that we are here. This is where we are in society, and I don't think it matters whether we have to or not. The majority, because majority rules, and the majority has already agreed into this system, right? And so it's just like money, right? I mean, just take like dollars and cents. Dollars are made out of cotton, not trees. In case you guys didn't know that. So we have all agreed.
Fact of the day.
A lot of people still don't know that. So, we are all buying into this belief that cotton that we dye green has this significant value. Until we all stop believing in that system, it will continue to be, right? And so the same thing with the standards of beauty. Standards of beauty is a social construct, is a social concept, and that the majority of people believe in.
I really love that you say that, because so many people, myself included, complain about, kind of just going off a little bit on a sidebar, the status of our country and the way things are moving. And the thing is, it's like, unless we all act and start, petitioning for structural change, things are going to keep going and repeating as they have been.
Yeah.
And that goes for any type of structure, I believe.
Yeah. And, we all have a different way that we think that it should be. And some of us are right, and some of us are definitely not right. Yeah. I think the most important thing is that with you in your life where you are today, you just make sure you're checking your own boxes, right? Like, I just check my own boxes. Am I okay with this? Am I okay with that? Am I not?
Right.
No,
making your own rules.
Making your own rules. It's hard because you're going against the grain. You're going against the man-made order of things.
Totally.
But that is, if you really strongly believe, like I strongly believe in how I want to live my life.
Right.
And so I understand that I'm going against the natural or the man-made order of things. And some days it's easy, some days it's not. Some days there's a lot of pushback, some days, there's not.
And just like anything else, these things are not binary, they are not black and white.
Yeah.
There's always going to be that gray that you have to move through, or wade through, rather. And I think that part of the issue, though, that I have anyway with the beauty influencer, not with the beauty influencers themselves, because, more power to them to, make their videos and have a lot of viewers, and I think that's actually really cool. And I've used to have more interest in makeup in that world than I do today. But my concern is that young girls who feel like they're not meeting the standards or the look of these influencers are going to become very insecure and caught up in trying to be like Kylie Jenner or whatever. So you made a really cool video kind of just like helping girls realize their own worth, which I found super empowering, and I just want to show that really quickly.
If I could tell teens around the world one thing that I considered important related to beauty and health, I think it would be about having an overall positive self-image. I think that we will naturally use products. We naturally want to be better. I think it's human nature to want to improve upon what we are born with. I think that it also gets to be excessive, especially when we have a lot of external influences in media, such as magazines and reality shows and music videos and red carpets and all of those things. So I don't think it relates to a specific product or a specific exercise. I think that or even like a specific food group to eat or not eat. I think it all comes down to how that mirror that we see every day of ourselves, that reflection of ourselves. And I think working on that on a daily basis is the most important thing. And I really do mean working on it on a daily basis, because there are many examples in the world of profound speakers and leaders that have referred to this. Confidence is something that needs to be refreshed daily with Zig Ziglar. The Mirror Project was somebody else. There's a lot of important references to the way that we view ourselves is the most important thing. That image that you have of yourself is the most important thing. That reflection that you see in the mirror every day is the most important thing. It's not what everybody else thinks about you. It's about what you think of yourself. And if you every day practice that and you exude that in your everyday life, then people will think whatever you want them to think about you. So that's the advice that I would give every teen in the world about health, beauty, life, and everything else.
Very inspiring.
Thank you.
Super true. I wish I had seen that when I was younger, because when I was younger, I had a lot of struggles around body image and beauty and identity. And I was overweight, and I lost like a whole bunch of weight, became anorexic for a brief time. And I think I became obsessed with the idea of being like certain models, and there were some sexuality things wrapped up into that too, which is a story for another day. But
we'll have to come back for that.
We'll have to come back for that episode. But I wish I had had more positive role models like yourself to look up to at that time. So how has that type of messaging, like that you're out there trying to spread this empowering message, and thinking back on your own work as a beauty influencer, how has this all contributed to your own identity?
So this is...
That was a long-ass question.
Yeah, long-ass question. So, okay. So here's the other side of beauty influencers that I think has actually had more momentum than the negative side of it, is that now you have girls that have a vehicle where they can talk about their imperfections and what they're doing to help improve themselves. So you have one of the biggest things on YouTube is how to cover up acne scars, for example, how to fix hyperpigmentation with black women, for example, or with anyone that has melanin or color in their skin. Two areas that are extremely debilitating for women. And you have beauty influencers with, terrible acne or acne scars, and they're showing other girls how to make themselves feel better. And not necessarily how to hide it, but just how to improve yourself enough so that you feel confident enough to face the day. And along with that, there's a lot of beauty influencers that are sending, not only are they doing the tutorials, but while they're doing the tutorials, they're sending a positive message, about how they feel about themselves. They're talking about their struggle. They're talking about how they overcame it. And also you have a wider representation of women in media. So with influencers, you have black, you have white, you have plus size, you have everything in between. You have Muslim women, you have women of every color, shape, doing things that were at one time not available for them to do. And I think that alone is very empowering, bringing down those gatekeepers and allowing girls to say, hey, I'm here and I can do this too, is a huge thing. So I think that has more of a positive, there's more positive momentum on that than there is the negative stuff. I think Kylie Jenner, you have to look at Kylie Jenner and the Kardashians and in two ways. And I will leave Kim. I think Kim, I have a whole lot to say about Kim, and it's not bad at all, but I think the Kylie Jenner and Bella Hadid and Gigi Hadid, you have to look at that as a system, right? Their mom was a supermodel. Their mom married a very successful man. They are in a system that is at a different level. You cannot compare yourself to that, and nor should you feel like you have to. Kim Kardashian, if there's one thing you can learn about Kim Kardashian, and you want to know where I got aesthetic labor from? Kim Kardashian. Let me tell you why. She has really broken down what it takes to create conventional beauty, right? She has broken down step by step aesthetic labor. What is involved? How many steps are involved in creating flawless skin? How many steps it takes to look great on the red carpet in a very subtle way that doesn't make you feel like you're learning a lesson. So I think that she's done a lot without actually raising her hand and saying, I'm doing a lot. She's done a lot for the beauty industry.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely, I feel like we could really go off and just have a really interesting back and forth about Kim. I don't condemn the Jenners or the Kardashians for doing what they do. It's just my concern is that just kind of like the overarching vapidity around it and just kind of like how it's in some ways blanketing our culture and, some negative, very vacuous ways. But again, like you said, structures, and there's different contexts, there's a place for all of it,
And then media companies, the larger media companies, they need clickbait, right? They need something for you to click. And so it's not just the Kardashians
giving clickbait
themselves.
Companies business.
It's not only them sensationalizing themselves, it's actually the larger media companies doing the work for them. They just have to be them.
Totally.
And it's, the outer layers doing all the work. I mean, it's the same way we look at Trump. I mean, he's just being himself. And it's the, New York Times subscription has gone up 60% just because he's just being himself.
That's a whole other mess.
That's a whole other mess, but very similar. More similar than different.
Interesting.
Yeah.
Well, Daisy, I thank you so much for
No
touching
problem.
on all of these issues. We covered a lot in such a short period of time. When we come right back, we're going to be speaking with Mira, another beauty influencer and entrepreneur extraordinaire in her own right, and then we're going to have a brief roundtable conversation at the end. Stay tuned.
In today's digital age, it's vital your business has what's called an online presence and inbound marketing. If you don't, or what you do have isn't very good, it's going to be very difficult to grow your brand, increase profits, and be successful. And here's another problem. Creating a powerful online presence means mastering numerous types of online marketing techniques. Let's face it, you're an expert in your particular industry, but unless you have time, energy, and a lot of money to waste while you learn from your mistakes, becoming a master at creating an online presence is going to be difficult, if not impossible. And that's why you need online marketing experts like Organize In. We have the expertise and experience you need to increase sales and profits significantly. We follow a practical framework. First, we build a solid online web presence. That means having an outstanding responsive website that is easy to navigate on all mobile devices and desktops. Also, as a lead generation machine. Then we start with inbound marketing framework. This includes search engine optimization, social media marketing, content marketing, pay-per-click marketing, and email marketing. Our expert
Hello and welcome back to Nadya's Identity Files. I have with me the lovely Mira. Thank you for being with us today.
Thank you for inviting me.
Absolutely. So we are staring at the good old Hollywood Boulevard. When was the last time you came over here? Because you live a little bit away.
I'm in Hollywood on average once a week for clients and for meetings, actually.
Oh,
so I'm up here all the time. But I was in the studio once before with another broadcaster.
That's cool.
Yeah.
That's right. I forgot about that. You know, I often myself have to schlep out to the east side. Like I live not, you're kind of like more like south,
yeah,
I think.
I'm in South.
But I am like Culver City-ish, and so I always have to schlep to like Los Feliz or freaking Hollywood. But it's cool. I like
it's
to
that
get out of
LA
my
joke.
zone.
Like I would take the 10 to the 405 for you.
Right.
It's
totally
such a sprawling city.
Absolutely. So today we're talking about beauty and identity and a lot of different facets within that theme. And you know, you're doing a lot of cool stuff. You're a life coach and you're a business mentor with your own online community, ambitionista.org. Yeah.
Yes.
And you also make these beauty how-to videos. So why don't you tell me a bit about your process, your journey, where it all started?
Sure. Wow, such a big question.
Duh.
So, I survived my quarter-life crisis. I'm going to say that 25 to 29 were some of the hardest years of my life. And, well, up to this point, I'm sure there's more challenges ahead. But during that time, I just spent all of my energy trying to figure out what I wanted to do with my life. Not only that, but how could I contribute in a bigger way? And after going through corporate America and realizing that wasn't for me, and then dabbling in entrepreneurship in so many different realms, I started in network marketing, which is a really great business school. And then I really kind of was looking at all the different ways I could freelance. So I've done so many things. And when it all finally came down to it, at the end of this quarter-life crisis, having worked with a therapist and having worked with a counselor and a life coach, I came full circle to I just knew that I was meant to help people, to support people, to feel good in their bodies, and to feel like they were living the most actualized life that they could. And coaching seemed like the best vehicle. So life coaching is officially the claim to fame. And the challenge with life coaching is that it is typically an hourly kind of a thing, so you can't really set yourself up for residual income. So I'm also building a network marketing business now in the beauty industry, which is where the tutorials came in.
Absolutely. Very cool. So this quarter-life crisis, and I relate to that wholeheartedly. I don't know if you're too into astrology. We might have talked about this before.
Maybe.
But what is it called? Saturn return is supposed to happen between, I guess, your 27th and 29th year on average, and mine definitely was between those ages. So, I mean, for you, would you say that quarter-life crisis had some relationship to body image and beauty at all, or something, or at least was that a piece of it?
Absolutely, there was an aspect of that, because when I left my last cubicle job, I went to become an exotic dancer. So it was kind of the exact opposite of the world that I was in. I was in a very buttoned up corporate environment where I was the good girl, and then I just went day and night to the bad girl experience. And when I look back at that, yes, it was kind of it was an aspect of my quarter-life crisis of trying to figure out who I am and what I'm all about. But it forced me to face what beauty means to me and what sexuality means to me and how I'm perceived and what it all means, and challenging the stigmas of the sex industry. There's so many layers there. So absolutely.
Wow. So you were figuring out your own identity, and once you started to really come into your own, you realized, I want to help other women who were going through the same thing.
Yeah.
And during this process, I'm assuming it was around this time that you decided to shave off your hair?
It was actually way after that.
Was it way after?
Well, I could say that the inspiration to shave my head came around that time. I remember, so I'm obsessed with RuPaul's Drag Race. And the first time I ever saw Amber Rose, she came on an episode of RuPaul's Drag Race, and I was like, what? Who is this gorgeous goddess?
She's so hot.
No hair, so beautiful. But not only her, but Demi Moore and Annie Lennox and so many just really beautiful celebrities that were rocking shaved heads at different points. And I just identified with it, and I said to myself, I want that at some point, but that's a one-day thing. So then 5 years later, my intuition just kept yelling at me, it's time to do that, it's time to shave your head now. And for whatever reason, I just wasn't feeling comfortable in this traditional idea of beauty, and I wanted out, and it was making my skin crawl. So July 4th was the 3-year anniversary of shaving my head.
Oh, wow.
So we just passed my shaved head anniversary.
Well, let's check out, because you made a video and you posted on YouTube of this whole process. Let's look at a couple of minutes of this video.
Hey gorgeous, welcome to a special edition of Ambitionista TV. I'm Mira Johnson. After years of wanting to shave my head and feeling conflicted about the idea, I decided it's finally time. My spirit has been calling out for this experience, and I can't ignore it another day. It's not always easy to listen to my intuition, and it doesn't always make sense. I trust the lessons will be revealed. Thank you for following my journey. I hope it inspires you to listen to your inner voice. The following images are of my beautiful hair before I cut it. Beautiful long blonde hair that I loved very much. You'll see photos that have been taken across the years, followed by a video, a 15-minute video, of me alone in the bathroom on July 4th, 2014, shaving my head, and all the emotional reactions that came along with it. Enjoy.
Wow. Whoa. Echo, echo, echo. All right.
And there you have it.
There you have it.
That was the first 2 minutes of what's probably a 15-minute video of my head.
I know. I watched
the whole emotional process.
I watched the whole thing. What was going through your mind when you were doing that? Because obviously you just said that that was something that you had wanted to do for so long.
Yeah, I was so conscious of how permanent it was. Like, you can only shave your head the first time once. I could grow it all out and then do the whole process again, but it would be something that I already knew. So it felt vulnerable and scary and exciting. And I was mostly just, because I'm kind of vain, I was mostly just afraid I would hate it and I would look ugly and I would regret it and I would have to start wearing wigs every day. So there was just this real intense fear that it was the wrong decision, but my intuition was calling me to do it. So I was just, at some point you have to let your intuition guide you because your logic does not always know what's right.
It was important for you to do it yourself then rather than have someone else do it.
Absolutely.
I probably would have cut my head off, like, by accident. I'm so clumsy. Like, if I wanted to do something awesome like that, I'd be doing the video. I'm so cool. Look at me.
Yeah, so that's why I had that, like, 2-inch guard, so I couldn't injure myself. And I grew up in a family of cosmetologists, so I've been around hair and makeup and stuff my whole life, so not everyone feels confident doing that themselves.
Right.
Yeah.
So you make a lot of different beauty videos, and what are people's reactions to kind of your overall look? Because it's a very unique, very striking look. I feel like people probably are very inspired, because I know I am.
Thank you. Depending on where I'm live streaming, I started live streaming on Periscope, which is a much broader platform, and it's like worldwide, and there's creepy guys everywhere.
I couldn't do Periscope.
So I got a lot of trolls. I don't know, probably not more than the average beautiful woman gets trolls, but there were people like, are you a guy? Are you transgender? Of course, they didn't use nice words for it, but I would get these questions and I would say, you know what, even if I were, that's a compliment. I think that transgender women are beautiful and brave and powerful, and so what's your problem? But I just didn't feel like dealing with that. So I've moved most of my tutorials over to Facebook Live, and at this point, I'll just copy them over to YouTube as well. But the reaction is, I think, curiosity, because you don't meet bald women that often, so you kind of just want to see what it's all about. And who doesn't want to see how someone else does their makeup? Because you know how you do your makeup.
Yeah.
But getting to kind of get behind the scenes about how someone else does it.
So what would you say like the main purpose is of you doing these videos?
It started out as just fun. Like, it's a fun way to engage with my audience and bring them something interesting to look at while also just chit-chatting about my life or letting topics come up at random. And then I realized I'm doing this anyway. I might as well find a way to add a profit center to it. So that was where I started looking for a beauty brand to represent, so that the cosmetics I was putting on my face would also be something that I felt good about selling and offering to my audience.
And have you found one that...
I have. There's a really amazing newer company. The parent company is called Alcone. They've been around for a long time. They're basically the Sephora for professional makeup artists. And they launched their own private labeled brand called Limelight by Alcone.
Okay, I like the name.
It's beautiful, I know. So the products have been used on Hollywood celebrities for decades, and now they're packaged in such a way that they're available to the public.
Are they like vegan, or what's like the special?
The skincare is 100% all natural, vegan, paraben-free, phthalate-free, all that good stuff. So it's natural.
Wow.
When you put the skincare on and you smell it, it smells like essential oils. Like, it smells so it's like going to the spa.
Nice.
And then the makeup is not necessarily all natural, but it is professional quality. It's so pigmented that it lasts forever.
Nice.
So when I make a purchase, I feel good knowing that I'm not going to have to replace it for a long time.
So where can people find your beauty videos? Just on YouTube, or you also Facebook Live, right?
Yeah, I would encourage folks to just drop by. This is kind of a landing page for everything for me, mirajolie.com. So just my first and last name.com. And then from there you'll find a link to not only the life coaching brand, but also more about the cosmetics and
That's
the beauty
awesome.
tutorials.
I love that you mentioned that, because she's also in marketing like I am. So the landing page, you guys, it's so important to have like everything housed in one place.
Yeah.
I myself am working on that. It's just been a matter of time that I haven't had time to make my own like Nadya Rousseau whatever. So
I don't even know when this lady sleeps. You have so much going on. So
I'm a little crazy.
It's incredible. And yeah, for anyone watching, if you are also marketing yourself, own your name.com and have that be the place that you send people, and then you can send them
and then
anywhere
it
else from
branches
there.
out from there. Very good point.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much for your time. We're going to have a very brief round table in just a little bit.
In today's digital age, it's vital your business has what's called an online presence and inbound marketing. If you don't, or what you do have isn't very good, it's going to be very difficult to grow your brand, increase profits, and be successful. And here's another problem. Creating a powerful online presence means mastering numerous types of online marketing techniques. Let's face it, you're an expert in your particular industry, but unless you have time, energy, and a lot of money to waste while you learn from your mistakes, becoming a master at creating an online presence is going to be difficult, if not impossible. And that's why you need online marketing experts like Organize In. We have the expertise and experience you need to increase sales and profits significantly. We follow a practical framework. First, we build a solid online web presence. That means having an outstanding responsive website that is easy to navigate on all mobile devices and desktops. Also, as a lead generation machine. Then we start with inbound marketing framework. This includes search engine optimization, social media marketing, content marketing, pay-per-click marketing, and email marketing. Our expert team has years of experience, and our customer service is simply as good as it gets. The point being is this.
Welcome back yet again. It's roundtable time at Nadya's Identity Files. I have both of my lovely guests here with me, and we are here now to inspire you. If you're out there and you want to make some beauty videos or content of any sort, you know, we want to empower you in different ways to do that. So if you met face to face with, say, someone in their early 20s or late teens who was like, I want to make content and I want to try doing beauty videos, where do I start? And what would your advice be? Starting with you.
I would say start by figuring out what makes you special and unique. Get really clear about, and it's probably something you're not even proud of. It's probably something from your past or something weird about your face that you don't like that makes you unique. And know that the people that are going to be most drawn to you are going to be the people that share that experience or are inspired by that experience. Don't be afraid to talk about that. Of course, make your beauty content, but be you in the process, because there's millions, it feels like there's millions of beauty bloggers and videos and all that out there, but it's going to be your essence that's what draws people in.
What about for people, and I just popped in my head, who aren't quite sure what their essence is and they're still finding out their identity? How can they do that through this process of making content?
Yeah. Do you want to answer that?
Sure.
Because I can come back on it.
I think the main thing is just starting. It's a lot for a lot of people that don't know who they are to have to figure that out before they start. You can spend a lifetime trying to figure out who you are, and that's going to change, right? So part of what makes good content is having different experiences, right? That's what makes a good influencer. That's what makes a good host. That's what makes a good writer, a good actor, or anything on that level, is having life, like real life experience to pull from. Yeah. And if you want to start making videos, well, the only way to really do that is to start. So whether it's having your iPhone or your Android, I'm not biased on either. If it has a camera, it works. You don't need a big fancy camera. You can start on your laptop. Most of the most famous influencers started with their iCam, on their Apples or whatever, their webcam. So you don't need a lot. You just need to start. And if you don't like it 10 months down the line, a year down the line, you can delete it. Yeah. I think that's one of the most empowering things about our life now, is that if you don't like something, you can remove it. Yeah.
And don't compare your beginning stages to someone else's 5-year experience, because it takes time and practice. I love what you said about just starting, because if you do go back and look at some of these influencers 5 years ago and scope out their old videos, you'll see how much they've grown, and you'll grow just that much. So some of the best advice someone gave to me about influencing online is that your life becomes a reality show if you're an influencer, and people are so curious about you and your experiences. The more authentic you are and the more you let them in, the more they'll be magnetized to what you have to say.
Yeah, definitely.
Very good point. And I'm just going to pick on myself now, because a lot of people say, Nadya's Identity Files, you explore all these different identities, but you're so mysterious. We don't know that much about you. And I'm like, that's fine. I'm focusing on everyone else's identity. But at the same time, I'm still pretty transparent. So it's like, how do you strike that balance? Because obviously you don't want to give away the story. You want to have people remaining intrigued by you. but you at the same time want to maintain that authentic, some level of authentic transparency.
That's actually
yeah. Do you do episodes just you on the show?
I've done a couple, but for the most part, because I consider myself a journalist first. You know what I mean? Before I am a host or whatever. So it's like I really enjoy picking other people's brains and learning about other people. Like I feel like a big part of my identity is based off what I've learned about others' identities. So I mean, I have done a couple things where I've focused more on myself and my background, but for the most part, I always have 1 to 2 guests. Yeah.
So there's a vote for mystery as well.
That
could work for you if you want to
right.
be the International Woman of Mystery.
The International Woman of Mystery.
Or man.
Right? That's true. I think you have to decide on what you want people to know and what you don't. Like, I have a very clear line with, like, what the public knows about me and what they don't. And when the two are not in sync, then I try to, like, close the gap a little bit without feeling like I'm, like, overexposed.
Right.
So you have to figure out where your comfort levels are, and also the people in your life.
Totally.
Like if you're in a relationship that the other person is not very visual, does not want to be on camera, or that's of your family that doesn't want to be on camera and live a part of that. That's something you have to think about.
Yeah. As an influencer, you're stepping into public life on some level. You're deciding what level that celebrity should show up.
Yeah.
Right.
And I love what you said about boundaries on what is personal and what is public.
Yeah. I have very clear boundaries about that. Like if my boyfriend is not a public person at all.
I've seen a couple pictures.
So in our in my Facebook feed, my personal, you're on my personal one, it's neutral. I'm not one of these oversharers of that. But it's neutral. There's a lot that people that feel like they're in that feed that know about me because maybe they've known me for a long time. There's some people that I've known since I was a kid there.
Right.
But there's a lot that they still don't know. I mean, and I don't even think a lot of them have my phone number, for example, But yeah, he's not in any of my videos. He doesn't do the boyfriend makeup, that one where it's your makeup your boyfriend does your makeup.
That's too bad. Those things are so great.
They are so funny, but they're just not him. And it's that's okay. There's so much other stuff that I can do.
Exactly.
It's okay. So I don't try to steamroll him into it or anything. I'm not hey babe, do this now. Here's a makeup brush.
So I have a last question for you both, because we were talking about taking action and just doing it. I tell people that a lot for anything that they want to achieve, whether it be videos or starting a project or even launching a show. Like I mentioned to everybody, I'm hosting a webcast this Thursday where I'm going to talk about different methods of producing and hosting your own content. I mean, that sounds so grandiose when I say produce and host. People are like, oh my God, you must be having something huge going on. And hey, while I would wish that were the case, and it probably will be the case, it will grow, that's not necessarily the reality. And myself, I'm a big perfectionist. So sometimes I struggle with taking action because I'm like, if I do it, it's not going to be perfect. And I just I get caught up in editing, and then shit doesn't always get done as rapidly as I would like. So what advice do you have for someone who's somewhat perfectionistic like myself, who wants to make more regular content on, say, a platform like YouTube?
Do you want to go, or do you have some thoughts?
Done is better than perfect. That's a huge one. It's so simple, and the first time I heard it, it just stuck, and I go back to that over and over again when I catch myself overanalyzing. And know that the first couple times you produce videos, you're gonna go back and obsessively watch it. Did you guys go through that?
Oh yeah.
At first, I would go back and obsessively watch every video I made and pull myself apart and notice all the little quirks and things I hated about myself. And now I rarely do. I just produce the video and moving on. I might go back just to make sure I didn't forget to share a link or something. Okay. But I don't overanalyze it anymore. That's what I like actually about a live video, because there is no editing.
There is no editing. Isn't that great? It's so great.
It's the best. And people like it. They resonate with that because they see, if you mess up, you stumble on your words, that's just you, and it's your life. Yeah. And people like that.
Yeah. Very true.
Yeah.
I don't like to watch my videos at all. I don't like to watch anything that, nope, I don't. Which is really hard because I don't like editing, right? So I got lucky really early where I have like an editor, but I do like to micromanage. That's my thing. If I had a flaw, it is that I like to micromanage. And so the way I like kind of create some distance is like I do the high level edit. Like I kind of know what I storyboard and I know what I want it to look like and so forth. And then I've been working with someone for a long time, so they kind of know my style and what I'm interested in. And it enables me to put out more content.
Right.
But I don't like watching myself after it's done. And I just think like once it's done, once I do it once, so my process is I do it one time when it's an edit, and that is it. I will like ask for modifications on like text and title or like any kind of graphic, but as far as the footage itself, like that's it. Right. That way I'm not like obsessing over it and stuff. Yeah.
So you have limits on your retakes and your edits.
Yes.
That's a good idea.
A lot of I'm very like highly self-disciplined, so I can actually like make myself do that. It works for me, but a lot of people I know it doesn't work for. But
yeah. That's a really good point. Yeah. I will bear that in mind for sure.
And just a reminder that when you get started, you are going to be nervous, you are going to mess up your words, and then over time in practice it just gets more smooth, and it's like sitting in front of your friend at coffee, just talk. That's what we're doing here.
Yeah, absolutely.
Like, yeah.
That's why I tell everyone who's nervous when they come on the show, I'm like, look, we're just having a conversation at the end of the day. Like, let's just have a conversation. Don't worry about how many people are watching right now.
Yeah.
So yeah. Well, thank you both so much for coming on the show and exploring identity and beauty. And you guys, again, remember, look out for my crowdfunding campaign. It's going to be on Indiegogo. Follow me on all my social media. Follow these two beautiful ladies on their social media as well. I've been showing their handles throughout the show. And I will catch you next time.
In today's digital age, it's vital your business has what's called an online presence and inbound marketing. If you don't, or what you do have isn't very good, it's going to be very difficult to grow your brand, increase profits, and be successful. And here's another problem. Creating a powerful online presence means mastering numerous types of online marketing techniques. Let's face it, you're an expert in your particular industry, but unless you have time, energy, and a lot of money to waste while you learn from your mistakes, becoming a master at creating an online presence is going to be difficult, if not impossible. And that's why you need online marketing experts like OrganizeIn. We have the expertise and experience you need to increase sales and profits significantly. We follow a practical framework. First, we build a solid online web presence. That means having an outstanding responsive website that is easy to navigate on all mobile devices and desktops. Also, as a lead generation machine. Then we start with inbound marketing framework. This includes search engine optimization, social media marketing, content marketing, pay-per-click marketing, and email marketing. Our expert team has years of experience, and our customer service is simply as good as it gets. The point being is this: When you work with us, we take care of handling all your digital marketing and do it in an affordable price. We build your online presence into something powerful that creates long-term sales and an affinity for your brand, leaving you to do the most important, run your business and take care of your customers. If that sounds like an excellent idea, get in touch with us today.
Welcome to the Live.
Johnny Stewart and Friends.
Slithering Idiot Show.
Hi, Yelling Bruce.
Guy Dawson Show.
702 Rocks.
Danny Vegas time.
Gene Wood's Racing Experience, named for the racing veteran and three-time champion, packs big racing action into extremely fast, high-performance karts that let you battle the other competitors side by side, just inches off the ground. Though the Las Vegas Strip provides a glittering backdrop, to the drivers at Gene Wood's Racing Experience, the blinking lights are all a blur. Behind the wheel of the high-performance karts, you'll zip around the half-mile track at speeds faster than other stations.